next important topic is Java constructors. Let us see. A constructor is a special method that is used to initialize objects. I hope we know what is the mean by object, right? Now, it is what they are saying, it is a special method. Why it is called a special method? Let us see. The constructor is called when an object of a class is created. It can be used to set initial values for object attributes. Let us see here and listen carefully. The constructor is called. What is the constructor? It is the method. Is called when an object of a class is created. Yes, must and should to call a class methods, you have to create the object, right? To call those objects or to create those objects, what we can do, it can be used to set initial values, which can be used the constructor. The constructor is used to set initial values for object attributes. What is the mean by object attribute? Let us see in this example. Get, create a constructor. How we create a constructor? By using the class name, we can create the constructor. How means, when we are creating a constructor, you have to keep with the same name of the class name. Let us see here, public class main. I hope what is this line? Creating a class with which name? Main name. Open the braces, int x. Now, create a class attribute. Yes, the x is the attribute for which class? Main class. What they said in this example, the constructor is called when an object of a class is created. It can be used to set initial values for object attribute. Let us see here, object attribute. Where I created the class attribute here, the class attribute. Now what is the mean by xma? It is one of the class attribute. Let us see, create a class constructor for the main class. What is the class name? Main. Public main method. Now this is called the constructor. Why? Because when we are creating the constructor, you have to follow this rule. What's the rule? What is the class name? That is the same as the method name. Now this method is called the constructor. Because of that, it is called the special method. Open the braces and x is equal to 5. See here, without creating the object only, I gave the value to the x. Actually, how can we call the x? By creating the object. But in this program, I create any object here? No. Simply by using the constructor, I initiate the value 5 into the x. Okay. Let us see once what I explained in the previous class. See here, this is the example for the class creation and the object, right? In this, how I gave the value 5 into the x by using the assignment operator, right? But in this is just a constructor program, how I initiate that value 5 into the x by using the main method. Means simply it is the constructor. Let us see here. The x is equal to 5. How I entered the value of the 5? By using this constructor. Because of that they given set the initial value for the class attribute x. Okay. I hope you understood how to create the constructor. This is the creation of constructor. Simply with the same name of the class name, you create a method. It is called the special method, nothing but the constructor. Okay. Public static void main string main my object is the static void main string args. Open the braces. Here, creating the object. How I create the object? By using the class name. One object name is equal to new keyword and then main method. Creating an object for the main class. System.out.println my obj.x, print the value of the x. To print the value of the x, how we call this one? By using the object. What is the object? My obj.x. Now it prints the value of the 5. Okay, let us see here once how we create the constructor. This is the creation of the constructor. The main is the same name of the class name, right? And why we use the constructor? To initialize the values into the class attribute. What is the class attribute? X is equal to 5. And how we print the value of class attribute? By using the object. What is the object I created here? My obj. To call system.out.println, my obj.x means it prints the 5 value. Let us see here, they given one note that the constructor name must match the class name and it cannot have a return type like void. Let us see in this. What they said the note, it matches with the class name. Yes, it matched with the class name. But don't write the return value here as like the void. Just you can keep here only the access specifier. Don't write the return data types like integer, float, double, void. We can't write before the constructor. Okay. Now, also note that the constructor is called when the object is created. Listen carefully here. That the constructor is called when the object is created. Yes, when you create the object, when we create the object, automatically the constructor will call. Actually, in the functions, we have to make a call after creating the function, right? But here, no need to call the constructor again specially. Automatically, when you create the object, the constructor will be invoked. Let us see. All classes have constructors by default. Yes, all the classes have the constructors by default. Let us see in this class. I created here the object. What is the object name? My obj. And what is the constructor by default here? The main. Why? Because the constructor is nothing but with the same name of the class name. Here it is the main. Let us see here what is the default constructor. All classes have constructors by default. If you do not create a class constructor yourself, Java creates one for you. However, then you are not able to send initial values for object attributes. Constructor parameters. Constructor can also take the parameters which is used to initialize the attributes. Yes. Actually, what's the mean by constructor? It is the special method. When we are talking about the methods, the method having the parameters, that's the common thing, right? Here, the constructor is also having the parameters. Let us see. The following example adds an int y parameter to the constructor. Inside the constructor, we set x to y. When we call the constructor, we pass a parameters to the constructor of 5, which will set the value of x to 5. Let us see what they said here. The x, we can set the x value to y. Means, whatever the x value and then y value, both are the same. By using this example, let us see. Public class main. This is the creation of the class. And what is the class attribute? X is the class attribute. Public main. Now it is the constructor, right? Why? Because with the same name of the class name, one method is there. Means it is the constructor. And what is the parameter in this constructor? Y is the parameter, right? Here, x is equal to y I said. Means the parameter assigned into the class attribute. What is the class attribute? X. X is equal to y. Let us see. Public static void main. String args main my obj is equal to new main of 5. What is this? The value of the parameter. What is the parameter here? Y. Y value is the 5. Now, this parameter initialized into the x. Let us see what is the x value. System.out.println my obj.x means automatically the value of the 5 and then the parameter assigns the value into the x. Whatever I said here, listen again. The following example adds an int y parameter to the constructor. Inside the constructor, we set x to y. Yes, inside the constructor. It is the inside the body of the constructor, right? What I done here? We set x is equal to y. When we call the constructor, what is the constructor here? This is the main, right? When we call the constructor, we pass parameters to the constructor 5, which will set into the x. Yes, this y value passes into the x. Now simply what we say, the constructor having the parameters to pass the values. What is the value of the y? 5. That value can pass into the class attribute. Okay. Next up, we can have as many parameters as you want. For example, in this example, I use the parameter only one, that is the y. If you want more parameters in a single constructor, let us see here. Public, class main, int, model year, string, model name. These two are the attributes. To which class? Main class. Public, main. Now it is considered as the constructor. Why? Because with the same name of the class name. And what are the parameters are there? One is the year and another one is the name. The year is in which data type? Int is the data type. The name is in which data type? String data type. Let us see here two parameters we are having. Those two parameters we are going to initialize into the class attributes. What are the class attributes? Model year is assignment operator, means equal to year. Model name is equal to name. Here in the main program, my car is the object to which class? Main class. My car is the object to which class? Main class. Now, how can we call the model year and model name? By using the object name. What is the object name? My car. Means my car dot model year, my car dot model name. What are the year and name values? See here. The year value is the 1969 and then value is the Mustang. Okay, let us see. Now, I gave the values into the parameters. First value moves into the year, second value moves into the name. Let us see how we print those model year and model name. System.out.println my car. What is the mean by my car? This is the object to the class, right? To call the class attributes by using the dot operator. My car dot model year plus my car dot model name, close it. Now it prints the value of year and it prints the value of the name. Let us see here, the output is 1969 and a down. That is about the constructor. Our next topic is encapsulations in Java. Let us see what's the mean by encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but hiding the data. When the user hides his data, when he feels it needs a secure, right? Let us see. The meaning of encapsulation is to make sure that sensitive data is hidden from the users. Yes, whatever the sensitive data, it's need to hidden sometimes. That time we are using the encapsulation concept. To achieve this, you must declare class variables and attributes as the private. I hope we learned the previous classes, private, public, and that protected access specifiers, right? Here, to protect our data, which access specifier we are using? Private. Let us see, whenever we declared our class in the private, those classes cannot be accessed outside of the class, right? I hope we know about the private. You check in the access specifiers, these concept about the private. Let us see. Provide public get and set methods to access and update the value of a private variables. What here they are saying, whatever we define the private variables and attributes, sometimes we need to update the values of the private class variables and attributes. That time we can use the set and get methods. What does it mean by method? It is the function, right? What is the set and get? These are the two methods. And why we are using these two methods? To access the private class variables and attributes. Let us see how we can use the get and set methods. You learned from a previous chapter that private variables can only be accessed within the same class. Listen carefully. We learned in the previous chapters the private variables can only be accessed within the same class. What's the meaning of this one? Means outside of the class, the private variables cannot be accessed. Why? Because it is the private. What does it mean by private in human life? If it is only for me, those are called the private, right? It means anyone can access? No. How can they access? It is in the private. The same thing is here also. However, it is possible to access them. One way to access those things, what is that? Get and set methods. What are the method? Get and set methods. The get method returns the variable value and the set method sets the value. Why we use the get method? To return the variable. Why we use the set? To set the values. Syntax for both is that they start with either get or set, followed by the name of the variable with the first letter is the uppercase. And what they are saying, when we are using the get or set methods, the first letter is uppercase. Which one is the first letter? By the name of the variable. By the name of the variable. Let us see here. Public, class, person. I hope here what is the class? The person is the class. Private, string, name. Let us see here. The string name. Name is the variable. String is the data type. Private is the access specifier. Just now I said the private class attributes cannot access outside of the class. Is it? Yes. Let us see public, string, get, name, function. Means it is one of the method. That method is in which return type? String return type. And it is in which access specifier? Public. Let us see return name. Public, void, set name, string, new name. This dot name is equal to new name. Let us see here. What is the private class variable name? Can I access this name outside the class? By using the get and set. Let us see here get name. Just now I said to you, the variable first letter must and should it is in the capital letter. In this note we learned. Let us see here. By the name of the variable. What is the name of the variable here? Name. N-A-M-E, right? In this name, you can keep the capital letter. Yes, I kept here the capital letter. Let us see. Get name. In the name, N is the capital letter. Right? Means this is the get method. In get method, what I done? Written the value of name. Let us see here on the set. Set name. Here also that same thing. N is the capital letter. String, new, name. This dot name. Why I use the this keyword to call the private access specifier? We use the get name and then set name. When we use the get and set, automatically you have to use the this operator. This dot name is equal to new name. Let us see here. The example explanation. The get method returns the value of the variable name. The set method takes a parameters new name. Yes. The set name is having the parameter. What is the parameter? New name. It is in which data type? String data type. Let us see the new name and assigns it to the name variable. This keyword is used to refer to the current object. Yes, to refer the current object. What is the operator we are using? This. However, as the name variable is declared as the private, we cannot access it from outside this class. Means simply what we said, the name cannot be accessed outside of this class. Example, public class main, public static void main, person, my obj is equal to new person. This is the creating object to which class? Person class. The person class having the private attribute, that is the name. Means this name can I write in the outside of the class? No. But by using the get and set we can use. But in this program I can't use the get and set, right? Because of that, if I call my obj.name, actually the name is in the private, right? The private class members cannot access in the another class. Means the name having one error. What is that error? Listen here. However, as we try to access the private variables, we get an error. myclass.java4 error. Name has private access in person. Yes. In the person class, the name is the private access specifier. Means it can be accessed in this class only. What is the class? It started here and it ended here. This class, only the name will work. If you want to call in another class, what is the mean by another class? Here, see, main. Here I started one more, the main class. In this main class, can I use the name? No. Why? Because the name is declared as in the person class private member declared chesam. Let us see. If the variable was declared as the public, we would accept the following output. John. If we create the name as in the public, means you can keep here it is the public, there is no error, we will access the output John. But what is the, let us see here, what are the two errors we got? The name has the private access in the person, and one more is the name has the private access in the person. Because of that, the system.out.println cannot access the variable name. Next, to reduce those errors, we use the get name and then set name in our program. Let us see, public class main means it is a one class. Started here and it ends to here. What I created the object my obj. To which class I done? For the person class, right? Let us see here, I used the set name to access the value of the jar. Because of that, set the value of the name variable to jar. Here, actually, we need to access the name from the person class. Actually, the name is, it is in the private. We can access in another class? No. What is the method we are using to access that one? The method is the set method. How we can write that method? By using the set and then that variable name, the first letter must and should in a capital letter. Because of that, I given my obj dot set name John. Now we can access that name in our class, another class also. This is nothing but it is the encapsulation. And now we can print the system.out.println my obj dot get name. Now we got the output as the jar. Let us see why we use the encapsulations. Let us better control of class attributes and methods. The class attributes can be made read only or write only. Yes, the class attributes can be made by using the encapsulation read only. What's the mean by read only? We can't change. Right? What is the mean by write only? You can only use the set method. flexible. The programmer can change one part of the code without affecting the other parts. That is the use of the encapsulation.